Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Chris with Inside the U. In this video, I want to take a look at Miami's two recent commitments. That's 4-star cornerback Khamauri Rogers out of Mississippi and 3-star wide receiver Landon Ibieta out of Louisiana. Both of those players play for the Louisiana Bootleggers 7-on-7 All-Star team. So I wanted to get more information on both of those guys, and I reached out to the head coach of the Bootleggers, that's Gary Cooper. And Coach Cooper's been a guy that's been around Louisiana football for quite some time, so I definitely wanted to get his take on both of those players, his thoughts on what he sees from those guys, working with them at practices and at games and tournaments. And I have a full, complete rundown of his thoughts on InsideTheU.com for VIP subscribers. If you're interested in finding out more, I will touch on a little bit with what he said in this video, and I will analyze a little bit more of what I'm seeing from them on film based on what they did last year during their high school season. So starting with Khamauri Rogers, he's a guy that's got great ball skills. You see that on film. Coach Cooper mentioned actually with Khamauri and Landon that both of those guys are really competitive players. And that stood out to me in our conversation. And I think that's great to hear because you definitely want to hear that from a guy that has been around football for a long time. And both of those guys are doing it at the 7-on-7 events. You know, there's a lot of competition with those all-star teams. Also, you know, with the opposition, but also on their own team at practices because they have very good players on both sides of the ball. They're getting a lot of good work there. So the fact that both players have that competitive nature, I think is a great sign. It's a great sign for their futures, which Coach Cooper did speak highly about. I think you guys will find his comments very interesting in the articles if you check those out. But basically, it feels like they both have bright futures, but I won't reveal too much of that part of it. So it's good to see that both guys are competitive because once you get to the college level, you definitely need to have that competitive nature, especially at those two positions because it is a lot of one-on-one work. You know, if you're at wide receiver, certainly you're trying to beat the cornerbacks, defensive backs on one-on-one coverages, and also at cornerback, everybody knows you're out there on an island in man coverage, and you just basically have to rely on your own skills. So that's good to see. In particular with Khamauri, let's talk about him. Again, out of Holmes County High School in Mississippi. It's a state that Miami's not recruited really well. It's in the sense that they've not gotten a lot of guys out of Mississippi. So it's a good sign because Khamauri's a good player. If he does well, you're hoping that maybe you can establish more of a relationship with the state, maybe establish a little bit more of a pipeline state outside of the state of Florida, which everyone knows Miami certainly recruits heavy in. So the fact that they get a guy that's a good player, it could open up some doors for the future. So that's good to see there. Also, same thing with Landon out of Louisiana. Louisiana produces a ton of prospects. You guys know about that. But it's definitely been tough for schools like Miami to recruit in Louisiana because of the way LSU recruits in the state, and they've been doing well in recent years. So LSU certainly has a stranglehold on that state. They do a good job of recruiting in-state. So if Miami can get in there, and they have gotten guys out of Louisiana in the past, there's certainly some pull if Landon can do well at Miami, so you're hoping that you can kind of, once again, go back with establish a little bit more of a pipeline in that state. Maybe you can get some other good players out of there. Also, just if you guys remember, former Hurricane running back Deron Thomas is out of Louisiana, and he's actually an assistant coach at his alma mater at East St. John. So maybe there's some pull there looking forward to the future. And also with the Bootleggers, Coach Cooper mentioned Miami's certainly recruiting some of their players, other players as well. So definitely keep that in mind. I think that's great that they're establishing some sort of relationships with those states, and maybe things can grow from there. So that's something to maybe keep an eye on moving forward in the future, building the Miami program and recruiting. Going back to Khamauri with his abilities that I've noticed on film, it's very easy to see that he's got good ball skills. He's making plays on the ball. He's a guy that used to play wide receiver before kind of, you know, really focusing on cornerback. So I think that's a good sign. You see him, you know, regardless if it's a bigger receiver or a smaller, quicker guy, he does a pretty good job of covering all kinds of wide receivers. And certainly you need that at the collegiate level because so many of these offenses, not only are they putting multiple receivers out there, but if they're going with a lot of tempo, you're not really able to rotate your defensive backs all the time and get the exact matchup that you want. So sometimes you're going to have to guard a guy that's either bigger than you or even faster. So the fact that Khamauri has showed the skills already at the high school level, that he can guard different guys, I think that's going to bode well for him in his future in college, because he's a guy that can be used in versatile ways. So that's definitely a good sign. There's a lot of other things to like about Khamauri. Once again, plenty of information from Coach Cooper on those VIP articles on the website. But again, what I'm noticing from film from Khamauri, you like the ball skills, you like the speed, and it's just great to see that he looks like he can do a lot of different things at the cornerback spot. And that cornerback spot is very important for Miami to recruit, because it's an area, it's a position that Miami's not gotten those top guys all the time in every recruiting cycle. The fact that they got Khamauri on board is a good sign moving forward. You can never have enough corners, because not only can they be used in the base defense, but also they're great in special teams. If it's a gunner and punt coverage or anything that it might be on different special teams unit, maybe you get a guy that specializes in blocking punts, whatever it might be. It's just good to have corners, good to have speed on the team. And a guy like Khamauri certainly fits that. Switching gears to Landon. Once again, he is a guy, when you watch on film, he gets downfield in a hurry. You like speed. And I think that's a good sign that he can make plays. He makes contested catches. That was certainly something that Manny Diaz talked a lot about last year with the Hurricanes. They wanted to make more contested catches. Landon seems to be a guy that does well in catching the ball in tight coverage. That's a good sign. He's also a guy that I've seen kind of grow. When you watch his film, you see him kind of continuing to get better. I think that's a good sign as well. Landon's a guy that's done well on the 7-on-7 circuit. I know his rankings aren't very high, but basically people that have seen him and really watch him quite a bit, like a Coach Cooper, they do like his abilities. And I think when you watch his film from last season, you can see why people like him. He certainly looks like to be a guy that can continue to get better, as he's shown over the past year. So that's a good sign. Landon does a good job with his hands. Like I said, gets the ball, gets downfield. I like the size that he's at right now. He certainly, is a guy that can continue to strengthen up. But you like his base right now. You like that he's a guy that's playing on this circuit with the bootleggers and doing well. He seems to be a guy that you always kind of hear about doing well at certain tournaments. You like that consistency, so that's good to hear from Landon, as he looks to be a key piece. Miami's got a ton of receivers. It's hard to say how it's all going to work out with the future, because you have a lot of young guys. You have guys looking to establish themselves. But as you've heard on any of these other videos or live streams that I've done, Miami wants to get to a point where they are playing 6 wide receivers at a time. That is their goal. It doesn't necessarily mean they want to split the playing time between the 6 wide receivers. They just want to be able to play 6, rotate them in. That's the number that they like. So when you're talking about the depth, a guy like Landon, the way he might fit into the future, is a guy that could be one of those guys moving forward. It's not just going to be the 2 or 3 receivers getting all the work. Ideally, they want to rotate a lot of receivers in, plenty of playing time to be had for that young group. There's going to be a lot of competition. I'm very excited to see how it works out this year, and obviously for years to come with a guy like Landon. So good to see. If you guys want more information, once again, on Khamauri, on Landon, there's plenty of information from Coach Cooper. So check that out on InsideTheU.com. Stay tuned, stay locked in on any other coverage of the Hurricanes on the website, on the channel. If you haven't yet, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Look forward to doing more videos in the off season. Thanks again for watching, and take care.